Monoposto Championship Class F3, 2000, FR2.0, and Classic 2000. Let's guide you through the grid then. Page 28 is where you need to be, and the grid should line up as follows. Pole position will be car number 94, Ashley Dibden, because this grid is set as per the finishing positions from the race earlier on today. Car number 94, Ashley Dibden on pole position, and alongside car number 70, Chris Hodgson. 94 and 70, row 1. Row 2 of the grid is car number 10, Neil Harrison, and 82, Ben Cater, 10 and 82, row 2. Third row of the grid, car number 15, 15, Simon Tate, and 79, Lee Cunningham, 15 and 79, row 3. Row 4, 31, Chris Davison, and 92, Kevin McClurg, 31 and 92, row 4. Row 5, number 49, Richard Purcell, and 26, Bryn Tootle. That is 49 and 26, row 5. Row 6 is car number 6, Peter Venn, and 44, Kevin Otway, 6 and 44, row 6. Row 7, 87, Hayden Edmonds, and 27, James Densley. They had a great race earlier on today for top honours in FR2.0. 87 and 27, row 7. And row 8, number 5, Russ Giles, and 36, which is Mike Hatton. That's 5 and 36, row 8. Row 9, 32, Terry Clark, and 56, Richard Crisp. 32 and 56, row 9. Row 10, 42, Paul Britton, and 21, Ian Hughes. 42 and 21, row 10. The 11th row of the grid, number 96, Taylor McVean, and 46, Gerard Wood. 96 and 46, row 11. Row 12 is car number 230, Chris Vosper, and 64, Marcus Sheard. 230 and 64, row 12. Row 13, number 19, Nick Catanzaro, with alongside number 14, 14, Robert Smith. 19 and 14, row 13. Row 14, 99, Matt Jordan, and 43, Andrew Barron, rather. And that is 99, Matt Jordan, and 43, Andrew Barron on row number 14. They were both retirees from earlier on today. And at the back row of the grid, whether we see them or not, because they've had problems earlier on over the course of the weekend, row 15, we are scheduled to have car number 9, Peter Legge, and number 40, Rob Manser, 9 and 40 on the 15th and final row, if they've made it out there. So that gives you the grid for what is the final race of the weekend here at Brands Hatch. The cars are just making their way down towards Clearways Corner now. We've seen some good racing from the Monoposto Championship over the course of this weekend. We saw a win in the first race of the weekend for Ben Cater. We saw a win in the second race of the weekend for Ashley Dibden. And therefore, are we going to see a third different winner in the Mono F3 2000, FR 2000 and Classic 2000 race for our final race of the weekend? It's just coming up to, 9 minutes to 6, so we've got plenty of time to slot in what is scheduled to be a 15-minute race to bring the curtain down on what's been a great weekend here. We've been blessed with reasonably good weather. We had a bit of rain yesterday, which caused a few issues, but today it has been a nice day here in Kent, hasn't it? Sun's shone beautifully all day. There's been a bit of a breeze still, but on the whole, it's been a very, very nice day weather-wise. Finally, spring/summer might be here. So, front row of the grid in position. The metallic green car with its white flashes of Ashley Dibden on pole position. The largely red and white car of Chris Hodgson on the outside of that front row of the grid. Row 2 of the grid is the red Dallara of Neil Harrison, and alongside him is Ben Cater, who I notice has angled his car the sensible way on the outside line, downhill, because it is not flat, is it, the start-finish line here at Brands Hatch. So Ben Cater's car is black, but it's got some subtle gold flashes to it. And Simon Tate's car, which has always been quick off the line in all 3 races, his is a red, white and blue car on row number 3. Red lights are on, and as they go out, it is a poor start from Chris Hodgson from the outside of the front row of the grid. Another very good start from Simon Tate, who's trying to work his way through into third place if he can on the run up towards Paddock Hill Bend, but it is Ashley Dibden that leads. Neil Harrison in second place, Ben Cater in third. It is going to be Chris Hodgson who's there in fourth place, and the fast starting Simon Tate didn't really gain a great deal in the end. He's there in fifth position, and he's being hounded by Lee Cunningham's black car with its orange flashes to it that sits there in sixth place. It's Chris Davidson in seventh, Kevin McClurg in eighth place, might be able to leapfrog Chris Davidson here. Bryn Tootle in ninth place, and completing the top 10, that's Richard Purcell, who sits there in 10th position. But it's a huge train of cars all feeding their way through onto the Grand Prix circuit, and yet again everybody's safely through the first couple of corners.
Yes, I missed sort of the start of that as it all happened, and it sort of looked like a mixed bag off of the start there. You called that Chris Hodgson got a bit bogged down there, so they haven't totally resolved the start issues there, which I'm sure would be gutted about having started, sort of worked his way up the starting order. Ashley Dibden, after his 2 victories at Cadwell Park, managed to get the win in the race too, and he's going to be hoping to do the same. But Ben Cater, after the win in the first race this weekend, not getting it his own way in race 2, he's going to be hoping to get towards the front, and I think, was he up into second? I think it was.
Yes, he was, yeah.
So it's there, it's possible to do, as Ashley Dibden comes into our sight, and it is then the red car of Neil Harrison, car number 10, that sits there in second. Oh, and someone goes off.
That's Ben Cater.
Ben Cater, and that's going to be stopped in the gravel, only just off the track, because he almost came spinning back towards it, didn't he?
He did, yeah. He's just disappeared into a cloud of dust at the moment. So Ben Cater tumbling down through the order. The race 1 winner from yesterday is going nowhere in the gravel, rotating through 180 degrees, and he has come to rest right on the very edge of the track. Now, if the marshals can give him a shove, providing the engine's running, he might be able to get going again, because he's not that far offline. No, but he's clambering out of the car, so he's lost the engine. He's clambering out of the car, and I know what's going to happen next. I suspect we'll see the lights come on the safety car and possibly a safety car period. But in the meantime, Ashley Dibden leads the race from Neil Harrison in 2nd place, Chris Hodgson in 3rd place. It is going to be Lee Cunningham in 4th place, number 15 car of Simon Tate in 5th, and Chris Davidson in 6th position. But with that car not in the safest of places, I think the inevitable is going to happen, isn't it? Yeah, the yellow flag's being flashed and the safety car is on standby, and we're about to go to safety car period of racing here for our final race of the day, Chris.
Yeah, he nearly made it back onto the circuit. You look at that, he's actually, I wouldn't be surprised if one wheel is just slightly touching the tarmac there. He just ran wide as he went round towards Clark Curve, not quite getting as far as Clark Curve, span round and then started being spat towards the tarmac again, but wasn't able to just keep going. Such a shame, because he got himself up into 2nd position, having started 4th position on the grid. And I think he was 3rd by the time he came back into ours, because Nathan Harrison was ahead of him, wasn't he, the red car? But all neutralised. Unsurprisingly, when it's that close, there's no way it's going to be anything but. So Ashley Dibden leads them round behind the safety car at the abated speed. And unsurprisingly with these cars, they're just sort of weaving to get a bit of temperature, keep a bit of temperature in their tyres. So it's Dibden from Harrison, Chris Hodgson in 3rd, Lee Cunningham sat there in 4th position. The number 15 car, Simon Tate, who's been involved in all sorts this weekend, hasn't he, sat there in 5th. 6th position is the 31 car of Chris Davison. 7th, the gorgeous Kevin McClurg car. That orange car looks absolutely stunning, I think, doesn't it? And that he was a late addition to the programme. I know I'm not getting that one wrong. In 8th position was number 26, Bryn Tootil, which of course means that he's leading his class, the 2000 class, and sat there in 8th from 10th on the grid, so he's done well. Then it's number 49, Richard Purcell. And then it's the Venn car number 6, Peter Venn, who is leading his class, which is the Classic, all the way up there in 10th, doing a great job in that. And, of course, he's already broken the track lap record for his class, which he had many years ago, got broken by someone else. He's come back determined to break it. He did, and now he's determined to try and take it even lower. Yeah, so he leads the Classic 2000 in what I said is just a beautiful car. I've always liked the Ants, and I think it's a very, very pretty-looking car, and doesn't look old now, even though it is, as he suggested, it's over 30 years old, that chassis. It still looks very, very good. And we ought to say in 11th place, that's the other class leader, because we mentioned all the other class leaders. That is the leader of FR2.0, which is James Densley at the wheel of the number 27 car. So we've got all of our class leaders within the top 11 places. As for the errant car that brought about this safety car period, which is the car of Ben Cater, sole car that isn't still continuing in this race. Everybody else is still out there and circulating. It's being extracted from the place at which it came to rest and being deposited further into the gravel at Clearways Corner. Well, sort of exit of Clearways, an entrance to Clark Curve in reality. And once that is done, it is, I think the circuit is clear, but the safety car is going to be heading down towards that part of the circuit. So it is not going to go green this time through. Hopefully the following time through, we should be able to get the safety car back in and head back towards green flag racing. Of course, clock continuing to tick whilst all of this is going on. We've got 9.5 minutes of the race still remaining, a race which is being led under safety car conditions by Ashley Dibden, who claimed honours
in quite fine form earlier on today, wasn't it? Ultimately, it was a 14-second win that he took in the race earlier on today.
Yes, which is what I saw him sort of being able to really control the race for both races up at Cadwell Park. But Ben Cater wasn't there. He came here and was just magnificent in the first race for these guys yesterday. But we were then able to see the issues that Ben Cater's got at the moment, because that's a new car to him, which I didn't realise until I interviewed him on the podium, because we see him racing these things all the time, but I didn't realise it was a new car to him. And so he's clearly still just got a few teething problems with that at the moment, and it spat him off into the gravel. It gave him some challenges in the first race. So, yeah, it's all to play for.
Yep, so they continue round. As for the extraction of the car in the gravel, it has now been pushed right up against the tyre barriers at the point at which it came to rest. The JCB that was moving it into the gravel has now disappeared back to its point at the outer edges of the circuit. So we should, on the basis that that's the only car we've lost so far, we should see the safety car come in at the end of this lap. Its lights are still illuminated.
It will only be fast though now, isn't it?
Yeah, its lights will remain illuminated for a good chunk of this lap. They'll probably be extinguished just on the run up towards Stirling's, I would suggest, and then from there, of course, it'll peel its way into the pit lane, and it'll be up to Ashley Dibden to decide when he wants to go. But when he's decided to go, he's got to go. He can't sort of lift off and accelerate and lift off and accelerate. You've got to plant your foot, and when you decide you go, keep it planted. So we're going to have, by the time they come round, I would suggest, 6 3/4 minutes of the race maybe still to go?
Yeah, so still plenty of racing. Not like the few we had earlier where we had basically a one-lap dash. We've still got plenty to happen in this. We've got a few people that possibly lost out a little bit on the standing start at the beginning of this race, that may be hoping that they can make a bit of a amends when they go through this rolling start. So I think it's going to be interesting, but definitely I can imagine that we're going to see Dibden just really go for this off of the start. As long as nobody is able to second-guess when he's going to go, I think he's going to be able to get that planted and start disappearing off into the distance. We know he's got the speed for it, but there's a few people that want to get involved in the mix. Safety car comes round. As we know, the lights are off. It's going to be coming into the pit lane now. And when are we going to see Ashley Dibden? He's dropped right back so that he's going to get it planted. Are we going to see him already up to full speed by the time they come into our view? I would say pretty much yes. He's gone. But I think that number 10 Harrison has gone with him.
He has, and Ashley Dibden goes through the dusty part of the circuit where Ben Cater deposited his car. Ashley Dibden leads. Neil Harrison in second place. Chris Hodgson in third place. It's Lee Cunningham that sits there in fourth place. Those front four cars having had a very good restart, because Simon Tate must have been caught napping a little bit in fifth place. He is under pressure from the grey car with its sort of reddy orangey flashes in the hands of Chris Davison, former Westfield racer, who is a tyre tester by trade and therefore does a lot of laps, particularly abroad where he does a good chunk of his tyre testing. He sits there in what is sixth position at this stage. The orange car of Kevin McClurg there in seventh place, and Bryn Tootle, who leads Mono 2000, car number 26, completes the next of the runners. He will be there in eighth position.
Peter Venn just got passed by James Densley, I think, there. Would that make sense? Yeah, they were running in line astern. He's just got passed by him there. So that is not for class, so it doesn't really matter to either of those two that that's happened, but it is a different way round to which they fit. Oh, we got someone just ran wide on the exit of Surtees there, just pirouetted round onto the grass. Once it was going, that was it. There was no answer. Someone else has decided to call it a day and pull into the pits, but the car that did pirouette has just rejoined the circuit. No harm done. Yeah,
snatched the brake, spun the car. That was car number 230, Chris Vosper, that had the problem. And the car that's headed into the pit lane, I have a feeling I know who it is. I think it might be Jared Wood, car number 46 possibly, but he will flash up as being, yes, it is indeed, car number 46, Jared Wood, who's headed into the pit lane area. So retirement for him at the wheel of his Vauxhall Lotus chassis. Over the start-finish line goes our race leader, but look at the squabble now for second and third place as Neil Harrison is under pressure from Chris Hodgson, who dives up the inside and is able to squeeze his way through on the run towards Paddock Hill Bend. So Chris Hodgson up into second place, and the red Dallara, the all-red Dallara of Neil Harrison down to third, and now starting to come under pressure from the black and orange car in hands of Lee Cunningham that sits behind. So a great fight going on for second, for third and for fourth places.
What an incredible move up the inside. I thought for a moment that was going to result in some kind of contact, but Chris Hodgson made the decision, and rightly so. You don't then sort of dawdle on the idea. He committed to it, he stuck with it, and he did it. Interestingly, that Peter Ven's now got back past the orange, black and white James Densley Tatus Formula Renault, and in fact, I think, is that Otway that they've
Kevin
lost
Otway, Kevin Otway's through as well, yeah. And one thing it does mean is that now the two Formula Renaults, the FR2.0 cars, are slugging it out again. Yeah. James Densley and Hayden Edmonds have been very much inseparable for the fight at the front end of that particular class.
He's waited for him.
Makes you wonder, doesn't it? But either way, car number 27 and 87 respectively are, again, going to have to sort out as to who might win the class.
And we got Purple Sector 1, Purple Sector 2 by Ashley Dibden out in the lead. We can expect to see him come round very soon. I've got a feeling that the number 14 car's into the pits as well. I always thought it did show that he was there already, but yeah, that one's out as well. Here comes Ashley Dibden. It's going to be a new fastest lap of the race, 1:26.269, and he's pulling away. Chris Hodgson has not only managed to move up into second, but he's managed to leave the number 10 car of Neil Harrison behind. Now, Neil Harrison was also having to defend from Lee Cunningham in the 79 car, but whilst Cunningham's still there within striking distance, he's not suddenly putting undue pressure on Harrison. So if Harrison can just sort of like get himself into a run now, he certainly could at least get himself comfortable in that third position, maybe even starting to reel Neil Hodgson back in again, Chris Hodgson back in again, sorry.
Yeah, we'll wait and see whether he is able to reel Chris back in or not. As for the lead squabble in FR2000, it is still the red car with its white flashes in the hands of James Densley, just ahead of the orange and white and black car of...
No, the other way round, so they've switched,
Edmonds.
haven't they? Yeah, so they've switched positions. So Densley's really lost out there in the orange, black and white car, having been ahead of Ven at the start of after the safety car period. He's lost a good few positions, so I hope that's not an issue, but that fight that's together has switched around, so we now need to keep an eye on what that gap's going to be. The number 87 car of Edmonds was 0.363 ahead of him last time. We'll see what it is next time they come around. But purple again for our leader, Ashley Dibden, as he comes down towards us to complete the 7th lap. We've got 2 minutes 20 remaining, so we should get another couple of laps in. Through he goes. What's he going to take it down to? 1:25.745.
Yeah, 1:25.745 is still not quite as quick. He's still about 0.6 of a second adrift of the fastest lap that Ashley Dibden posted in the race earlier on today, a race which, of course, he won to the tune of some 14 seconds in the end. He is safely up the road from the second and third place squabble, which hasn't entirely disappeared as yet, because Chris Hodgson hasn't truly shaken away the attentions of the Magic Motorsport prepared number 10 car in the hands of Neil Harrison. So they thread their way onto the Cooper Straight and start to disappear out of sight onto the Grand Prix circuit for what should be the penultimate time.
And it does look like Densley's not on the same pace that he's had for the rest of the weekend, because not only was he passed by his championship, his class rival of Edmonds, but he's now dropped behind Giles in the number 5 car, so he's just slipping away from that, and he's under pressure already from Crisp, and that is for class, so he could be dropping out of second in class to third at this race, so something's not quite right with Densley's car, which is such a shame. Yeah, having had the 2 class victories and really feeling good about the racing, it's not going quite to plan. Now, I said that if Harrison, in the number 10 car just got himself resettled, he could start making, not only leaving Cunningham behind, but start reeling in Hodgson. Well, he did on the last lap by 0.2. He's only 0.6 behind. They've both put green sectors in, although our leader, purple sectors, what's he going to take it down to? 1:25.1. But here's Chris Hodgson and the number 10 car of Neil Harrison. That possibly has stabilised again there, hasn't it? Yeah, Chris Hodgson has now gone down to a 1:26 compared to the 27 of Harrison.
That new fastest lap from Ashley Dibden is 9 1/1000ths of a second slower than his fastest lap from the race earlier on today. So hugely consistent lapping from Ashley Dibden, who is going to walk away from Brands Hatch with an extended lead in terms of the championship scoring in his respective class. Chris Hodgson now looking ever more secure in second place. Neil Harrison, number 10, in third place. It's Lee Cunningham, that's there in what is 4th position. Simon Tate's number 15 car sits in 5th place, and it is the number 31 car of Chris Davidson that completes the top 6 at this stage. We've still got Bryn Tootle Down in 9th place, car number 26 leading Mono 2000. We've still got the beautiful Anson, number 6 of Peter Venn, leading Mono Classic. And we now still have car number 87 leading FR2.0, which is the Formula Renault of Hayden Edmonds.
Oh, and we've just had a moment there. I was interested to see that Densley and Crisp were still joined in a battle, but Crisp obviously just lost it as he exited Druids there, which means that there is no pressure being applied for Densley for that second place in that particular class. That's such a shame because they were going at it all the way down from Paddock Hill up to Druids.
As here now comes Ashley Dibden, ready to take the final checkered flag of the weekend at Brands Hatch. Ashley Dibden comes through and wins 2 of the 3 races in the Mono F3 2000, FR 2000 and Classic 2000 classes. It's Chris Hodgson in second position, pulling away all of the time from Neil Harrison, who faded towards the end of the race but still finishes in 3rd place. Lee Cunningham comes through, car number 79 in 4th position. 5th place will go the way of number 15, Simon Tate. 6th place, number 31, Chris Davidson. 7th place for the beautiful orange car, number 92, in the hands of Kevin McClurg. Just ahead of number 49, the almost metallic burgundy car, isn't it, of Richard Purcell, who finishes in 8th place. 9th, and the win in the Mono 2000 class goes away of number 26, Bryn Tootle. Then it is Kevin Otway who comes through to finish in 10th place in the end, car number 44, getting past Peter Venn's Anson on that final lap, but matters not. Peter Venn still will finish in 11th place and secure honours in Classic 2000. 12th place is Russ Giles, car number 5. 13th place goes the way of number 87, which is Hayden Edmonds. He will be the winner of FR2000.
Willie this time. 3 times I've tried to... This will be the 3rd time I've tried to give him the win in that class.
14th place is number 27, James Densley. 15th place, number 36, Mike Hatton. 16th place, number 56, is Richard Crisp. 17th place is number 89, James Drew Williams. 18th place is number 42. That is the car of Paul Britton. 19th place goes away of number 32, which is Terry Clark, and completing the top 20, car number 99, which is the car in the hands of Matt Jordan. That is the runners and riders and the way that they have finished in our final race inside the top 20 for the weekend. Nick Catanzaro just comes through in in 21st position, just ahead of Taylor McVean in 22nd position. 23rd place goes away of car number 230, Chris Vosper. And then the last of the finishers should be car number 64, who's just gone through now. And that will be the car that is driven by Marcus Sheard, the Reynard 883, a car which won the Mono Classic Championship in the hands of Tristan Cliff a few seasons ago. So that is the way that all of the finishers have been concluded. The cars making their way down towards the bottom section of the pit lane, where Chris Dawes is ready to have a chat to them for what has been an excellent and a busy weekend here at Brands Hatch. And as we say, don't forget, next weekend here, over the bank holiday weekend, on the Grand Prix circuit, Saturday and Sunday, we've got the Masters Historic Festival, including rounds of the FIA Historic Formula 1 Championship. We also have rounds of the FIA Sports Car Championship as well on the Saturday and Sunday. And on the Monday, we've got racing from the Morgan Sports Car Club on the Indy circuit. brandshatch.co.uk will give you all details on that, and of course all other forthcoming meetings here at Brands Hatch. So Chris Dawes down on the podium for what will be the final podium presentations of the weekend, and we've got the winners of each of the respective classes, 4 drivers to chat to in a few moments' time.
Yeah, absolutely. And the good news is that they're down here in their cars rather than waiting to be rounded up from Parc Ferme. So hopefully, he says, that it means it won't take too long. David Willey's down there corralling them. Don't mess with David Willey, he looks rough. He is, I know. Well, exactly, yeah, you're right. He is a Sunderland supporter. So the 4 drivers are now making their way towards us. And we do have a couple of different ones from memory. I think Hayden Edmonds, as I say, been trying to give. Bryn Tootle has been threatening, and good to see that he's going to be coming up here. So it will be 4 drivers winning their respective classes. Glorious looking cars. Even with the safety car, they weren't able to dull the joys of the battle. As we wait for them to appear through the door at the back of the podium here, up through the flights of steps just after doing a full race. I'm sure they're absolutely delighted to do the flights of stairs after that, after a long race, but we expect to be able to see them. Excellent. So here we go. So, first of all, the winner of the Classic 2000, it's car number 6, Peter Venn. Well done, Peter. Cracking job. The winner of the Formula Renault 2000, and twice already I've been trying to give this award to him, and I'm correct this time, Hayden Edmonds. Well done, Hayden. Winner of the 2000 class, number 26, Bryn Tootle. Well done, Bryn. And second win of the weekend as well for Ashley Dibden in the F3 class. Fantastic job. So we just let the photos be taken before I dive in and grab a couple of words with our final podium of the weekend. Right, well done, Ashley. Congratulations. Completely in control that time. I don't think you were ever really under too much pressure.
No, it was really good actually. The car felt really good. Managed to get the brake off the start, then pull a bit of a gap, and obviously the safety car come out, and then managed to just maintain the gap from there.
It looked off the safety car that Neil Harrison did manage to read you when you went, so he stuck with you for a little while, but it didn't seem to worry you, and you knew that you'd just be able to pull away. Yeah,
so we've had really good pace in the car all weekend, so it was nice to be able to pull a gap on the Grand Prix loop and then sort of manage it from there.
Well done, you did it. Great performance. Bryn, congratulations. You've been threatening to be up here for this all weekend, really, and you managed to do it.
Well, I've won every one, actually.
Sorry. I'm thinking of, sorry, my apologies, the wrong one. Congratulations.
Didn't win last time, that's all, because you didn't want me last time.
Don't blame me. I had nothing to do with it, sorry, I just wasp away your wasp there. But, OK, you're legitimately up here and I get to interview now.
Thank you. Yeah, I did all right. I changed the car because we were going slower and slower in the second half of the race. And I changed the car and hit or miss, and fortunately it stuck together. The safety car helped me, I think. Okay. Yeah, else Kevin Ottaway would have been breathing down my neck.
Yeah, and I saw that he actually managed to make a move past Peter, and he was going to start gunning you down, but he didn't have enough laps. But I
didn't have enough time.
Well done, yeah, Peter Van Helden, but well done, great performance there, as I'm sticking to the champagne here. Goodness me. Hayden, congratulations. Now, I kept calling your name, even when it wasn't you that was up here previously, and this time you're legitimately up here.
Yeah, thank you very much.
And it looked as though, you were going to get involved in your battle with James Densley again, but then he just sort of faded away, so you just made sure you had it sorted.
That was it, yeah. Before the safety car, he managed to just get past up the corner, and then after the safety car, managed to get him down the straight.
Wait. Oh. Goodness me. Right, we're still... Ah, you son of a gun. Right, now I'm fully soaked. Peter Venn. As I now interview fully soaked from the champagne there. Congratulations, another victory there. I know you were going to try and go even lower on the time.
Yeah, I didn't manage to do that. We had a good scrap with Kevin. I was trying to chase down Bryn, but he got too good a start, really, and got away. So, yeah, very happy. We got a second win. It wasn't quite as quick as earlier in the day, but we got the lap record then. So I've come away with objective achieved.
Fantastic job, guys. Right, now the rest of you can spray your champagne. I'll go and dry. But, Mark, I'll make my way up as I hand over to you.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, just before everybody disappears, a huge amount of thanks to all of our marshals and officials for the fantastic work that they've done over the course of this weekend. We've kept them reasonably busy on some posts, lesser so on others, but we've certainly given them reasonable weather throughout the course of the weekend. So a great weekend of racing, and we can do it all again next weekend here at Brands Hatch over the course of the bank holiday weekend with 3 days of racing action to come. But that wraps things up for today, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you've enjoyed yourselves. I know Chris Dawes is back here next weekend over the Saturday and the Sunday for the Masters Historic Festival. It's going to be a couple of weekends after that before I return. So, Chris, maybe a few final words for you before we sign off?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Mark. It's been a joy. It really has. I think you said it already. It's been a cracking weekend. It really has been enjoyable. Great weather today. It's been a pleasure. Thank you to the Orange Army again. I am indeed back here for the Masters. I cannot wait for that. But in the meantime, have a safe drive home, and I'm going to go and dry out from the champagne.
Yep, thanks a lot. Chris Dawes on the podium and in the pit lane for all of his efforts throughout the course of this weekend. And, of course, from Jock Simpson, who joined us for the Henderson Insurance LMP3 Cup races and the GT Cup Championship. But that's all for the moment. From Chris Dawes, from myself, Mark Werrell. Safe journey home, everybody. We'll see you again very soon at Brands Hatch.